There is an entire hidden city in Resident Evil Requiem. By using the freecam mod, you can find tons of secrets you wouldn't normally see, like this area around the bomb crater, which you ordinarily can't access but you can explore in freecam mode. Also, what's inside the gas station from Resident Evil 2, which shows up in Requiem during a cutscene that you can pause time and fly around in, and what the deal is with this lady at the end of the game, who a few hours earlier we can see literally become a zombie. But first, before all of that, I want to take you inside a secret room at the start of the game. Now, this room is located in the hotel during Grace's first playable section, and it is the center of plenty of speculation in the Resi community, because if you peek through a crack in the door, you can see a cardboard cutout, and this cutout is of a mysterious female figure. This room is locked and there's currently no way to enter, and this is fueling a whole lot of intrigue that there may be a way in. After all, Capcom is known for hiding a lot of vague puzzles throughout its Resi games, and maybe this cutout is a clue we should investigate. I've heard people trying all sorts of ways to get in, like leading the cop over to break the door down, and even flushing one of the toilets a certain number of times to trigger something. But thankfully, with the freecam mod, we can bypass all of that and get past the locked door and get inside. And here is what we see. Absolutely nothing. This room is just a black box with nothing but the cardboard cutout inside. If we zoom beyond the walls, we can see where it sits in relation to the rest of the map, which is right here. And the result is nothing remarkable. As for the cardboard cutout, this just seems like a generic prop, and the intention by the devs was likely just to have something peek out from behind the door as you walk past to give you a shock, but nothing really more than that. While the end result was kind of disappointing, it is good to put that one mystery to rest. So that was the first secret investigated using the freecam mod. Consider this myth busted. But guys, I am about to show you a lot more interesting hidden details next up in the video. But before then, scan the QR code on screen and support me on Patreon, because not only will you help grow this channel, but also I post exclusive content over there that YouTube doesn't allow me to do. Thanks as ever. Now back to the video. In Resident Evil Requiem, there are two Sherrys. So here's something I found quite fun. In this scene, Sherry looks into a mirror, but instead of seeing her reflection, she's actually looking at a second version of herself. That's because in Resident Evil Requiem, mirrors don't work the way they do in the real world. Programming full reflective materials is quite intensive, so it's easier just to have a regular pane of glass and put two characters either side of it. Using the freecam mod though, we can spin the camera around and see a character on either side. When their movements are both synced up, it looks like she is looking at herself in the mirror. Next up, I'm going to show you behind the scenes of this cutscene. This happens in the Umbrella facility, and it features Gideon making a surprise entrance, catching everyone off guard. But as we can see, Gideon is literally just waiting off to the side. He waits here the whole time with no one being able to spot him. The actual reason for the devs having him here is pretty straightforward. It's quicker if they have him in the scene already, so they don't have to load him in. And just to hide him from view, it's as simple as keeping him out of the shots. That's why we never see a wide shot in this cutscene that faces towards the door, because that's where Gideon is. And these lights you can see changing is the positional lighting that changes shot to shot. Capcom places these lighting nodes as a way to light each character in their own individual shots. But it is just quite amusing how Gideon tries to make his dramatic entrance, shocking everyone when really he's on the catwalk the entire time. Next up, let's investigate a classic location from Resident Evil 2. During this cutscene, we see Leon drive by a gas station, and if we zoom in, we can see the Jeep he parked here all those years ago at the start of Resi 2. But by using the freecam mod, we can actually explore the cutscene and go inside it. So every environment in Requiem is fully modeled because cutscenes in this game take place in engine, which means we can pause every cutscene and fly around and take a closer look. And what's impressive is the Jeep is parked in the exact same place as we saw in the opening of Resi 2. This is where Leon first meets Claire, and the pair have a quick shootout with some zombies in the gas station. The devs also built out the gas station, including each individual room, which they didn't really have to do because we don't even see it during the cutscene in Requiem. As we can see, it is a Mizoil gas station, which is a fictional brand of gas in the Resi universe, but there is a surprising amount of detail they added that you can only see from close up. Like, we can see rust everywhere on the metal, we can see these bent pillars, the chipped paint on the walls as well, and the piles of built up rubble. Also, the general aged state of everything is really convincing, because you imagine this is exactly how a disused gas station would look following 28 years out of action. Thankfully for Leon, he swapped his car for a slightly newer model, which is a whole lot shinier. You can even zoom right into the steering wheel logo to see a level of detail you would expect from the likes of Gran Turismo. The crater. Now, here's what I really wanted to take a look at in this video, and I had a few comments in my last video saying it would be really cool to fly the camera directly into the crater at the heart of Raccoon City, and that's exactly what I did. But as I was flying the camera into the crater, I noticed that the entire city had also been modelled, as in every single building is a full 3D object. Capcom has built an entire section of the city full-sized for literally 5 seconds of cutscene, and with freecam you can get right on down to ground level. Now, obviously, the buildings don't look quite as good as they do from far away. The geometry is a bit warped and the textures are muddy. The whole scene has this sort of barely loaded in Google Map kind of thing going on. But I will say this is a great example of the importance of lighting, because from the default position, this city looks almost photorealistic, but if you look at it from angles you weren't meant to, it looks a whole lot worse. And that is mostly lighting, because the models themselves don't change, and of course it is a bit to do with distance as well, because after all, you weren't meant to see these things close up. But you know what, it's still amazing to be able to go in and freely fly around a fully modelled Raccoon City without any restrictions. And if you fly back up and look around the environment itself, you can see some extra details, like here is the road that Leon drives in on, and behind it I think this is what's meant to be the care centre he came from, just as meant as more context than anything, probably to orientate the level designers and give them a sense of place so they know where everything sits in relation to each other. But now it's time to visit the crater itself, and a few observations about the crater while we're here. This crater was made on October 1st, 1998, when the US government ordered a missile strike to prevent the T-virus spreading. At dawn, according to canon, one non-nuclear thermobaric missile struck the city, supposedly eradicating the T-virus and roughly 100,000 people, and also flattening everything, including all structures. However, as we can see, there are still buildings standing near the crater. Shockwaves from the impact alone would have leveled them, and seeing as the missile was thermobaric, this means it detonates in the atmosphere. It shouldn't really leave an impact crater. But hey, maybe the missile malfunctioned and it hit the ground and then exploded. If that's the case, the mission would have been considered a failure, and the government then would have, you'd think, try another one. The aim was to eradicate the T-virus and not leave a single building standing, but as we can see, there are plenty of buildings standing, giving the T-virus ample opportunity to spread. Though, to play devil's advocate, Capcom they are free to retcon as much as they like, and I am just really personally glad there are still parts of Raccoon City left to explore. Now, at the centre of the crater there is, as I thought, not much, just a pool of water and underneath a large dent in the earth. But as a Resi fan, it's cool to be able to get this close to it, even if probably now I should have radiation poisoning. The newsreaders. I've been wondering how the newsreaders work at the ending of Requiem, and if they really are talking into a camera. Turns out no, they are not. This camera is just a floating light and they are speaking to no one. That goes for this other news reporter as well, who's speaking into a red coloured light, but check out who he's speaking to. I found this detail purely by chance, but also I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the lady who turns into a zombie during Leon's opening scene. We first see her attack a man, then become a zombie and chase after Leon. It's great to know she made a full recovery from being turned into a zombie, then being shot in the face. It turns out the cure to the virus is bullets. Back in the newsroom, these news channels seem to have pioneered flat screen technology to make the thinnest screens in existence. It's also the same for this newsreader, who is waiting here with the lights off patiently until it's their turn to speak. They've also got really lucky with the placement of these newsrooms, building their broadcast studio right next to the FBI office. That is sure to result in a few news stories. Hopefully anyway. Maybe they have a source on the inside. As it turns out, both the FBI office and the newsroom are situated directly above the Umbrella offices and where Leon has his final fight with Gideon. They're also right next to Sherry's offices where she directs Leon. And once in this room, we can also get a good look at all of the screens that Sherry uses. We also see Sherry herself with the light off until she appears in the scene. So from all of this, we can learn that Capcom basically likes to have his assets all in one scene, fully loaded in, and then just put the camera and the lights on them when it's their scene. A few quick things I noticed in the ending scene. You can zoom right into TVs and actually into them themselves. So this is meant to be a brief shot of the destroyed Umbrella facility all on fire, but it's an actual level that Capcom made, and it's sort of got a film grain applied over the top to give the impression it's on a screen. But you can actually fly around the fully rendered space and see all the individual objects. Also in the ending, we can see some familiar vehicles, including the chopper that Grace and Emily fly out on, then subsequently crash, and also the digger that she has to flee from when it crashes through the walls of the care center. So this is just classic asset reuse. Capcom have already made the objects and now they're just putting them back in the scene. Here's one for the spider lovers. During this scene, when Leon is on his way to Raccoon City, we get a brief zoomed out shot of a spider, but if we zoom in, this spider is incredibly detailed, and this is strange for something we barely see. Capcom again going the extra mile, modelling its eyes, the hairs on its back, and its fangs. Now they could have just used a scaled down model of the giant spider that attacks you later, but nope, that would be too easy. They made a full spider. But I did spot something interesting about this spider fight when viewed from a different position using the freecam. If you follow along from outside the conventional perspective, then fly down through the floor, you can see a second spider lying in a heap on the floor. This is the model for the deceased spider already waiting there, so when you take out the first spider, it disappears off screen, and Capcom has this one ready to go. The city rooms. You can fly the camera into each room in Resident Evil Requiem city scene, and there's something to find inside each one. Even though you never see these rooms, Capcom has created the scene of a messy kitchen with 2 white doors, piles of rubble, an oven, a shelf with bottles, and a cream-coloured microwave. Even though each room is a copy and paste job, that's just really how these kinds of apartments are built, with each apartment just being the same. And I mean, that's a way you can explain this. The other explanation is Capcom didn't really mean you to see this, but we can see that the visuals are 2D as well, indicating further they're not really meant to be seen. So it is a surprise there is even something here to find. But what I liked about this, discovering this, was the sort of PS1 era art style. These graphics remind me a lot of Resi 1 on the PS1 with its pre-rendered backgrounds, and that's sort of become a lost art, so it's really good to see this again, even if it is by chance. Where is Emily? Well, we're going to end on a reveal of the location of Emily in the last scene of Requiem. We can see her all wrapped up in the remains of the monster she turned into, apparently alive, but maybe in some sort of coma. But where exactly is this? Well, it turns out in the freecam mod, we can see Emily is right on the front steps of the care center. You may have eliminated her deep in the bowels of the building, but she's helpfully right outside, ready to be put into a waiting ambulance. So those were some more secret details in Resident Evil Requiem revealed by the freecam mod. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, let me know what you want to see in the next video, and for more videos like this one, subscribe to the channel.